difficult in this life, so still you need to be on it.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Looking to the end zone for the win!
Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
The competition is back, and the UEFA Women's Champions League looks set to be bigger and better than ever before.
It's their time, a night to remember.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of Ariel Nade right here on the undisputed global home of boxing, DAZN. DAZN, the undisputed global home of boxing and football. All month long, we're in the midst of the Club World Cup semifinal day. 1 today, day 2 tomorrow. And because of that, my friends, we had the opportunity of luring one Ariel Oladipo, the other half of this program, to our very studio. He's here, let's be honest, to host day 2 of the semifinals. I mean, there's a little matter known as PSG versus Real Madrid, and I had to finagle. I had to essentially bribe the powers that be. Like, hey, I know he's here for the football, but can he come visit us in studio?
It was me that said it was me. I was down to do semifinal 1. I was like, you know what? I'm doing semifinal 2.
Yeah.
I said I'm doing semifinal 2 because
I mean, with all due respect to Fluminense and Chelsea, PSG Real
Madrid
is not bad.
And they asked for the big dog. You know what I mean?
That's a heavyweight clash.
I'm gonna see what I can do if I can squeeze it all in.
It's great to have you in studio.
Thank you very much,
and it's great for you to be here on my birthday, because the difference between me and you, Ade, is that I do believe you take the week off when it's your birthday.
I do.
When it's my birthday, I'm say,
shocked.
no, I'm actually grateful. I'm actually proud. I'm actually lucky enough to work.
Why are you wearing a crown?
They gave it to me. The boys gave it to me because this is the uncrowned studio.
Okay.
So I'm sort of the
what
the king
was
without a crown.
39, 40?
If you must know, it's 43.
Damn, you're getting on.
Crazy, yeah.
Why
crazy.
are we getting so old?
It's crazy, man. It's hard to actually sort of put my thoughts together, wrap my head around it all. It is crazy. 43.
It's crazy.
It's my Brad Doherty year. You familiar with him?
No.
Former center of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
Richard Petty?
No.
Any great footballer who's number 43? Not really a football number.
No, we don't really go that high
Don't
in
do
jersey
that,
numbers. No.
No, there's the guy from Georgia, number 77.
Yeah, but
PSG.
I mean, you're going to have a 1 or 2, but
Yeah,
normally it's like 1 to 11, then extras.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
But happy birthday, dude.
Thank you.
So I feel bad that I've come with no gifts.
No, listen.
I only found out on the way here.
Everyone brought me gifts, actually, today.
I'll take you out for dinner after.
Yeah, I actually gave you a gift.
He did. I'm so proud of this, by
Yeah.
the way, as well. This is coming home with me. Honestly, it's going to come home with me.
Well, it's great to have you here. It's such an exciting time. New York is not only the epicenter of football, it's really the epicenter of boxing
Sports
this weekend. Well, this particular weekend is a huge one. This thing is lighting up like crazy. Ade, I am so excited to say that today's program is brought to you by our good friends over at Netflix. Look at that logo right over there. Taylor Serrano live this Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Netflix around the world. 300+ million subscribers.
Can we guess what number you think it will get? Are you allowed to do this? Are we going to get in trouble for
I just want to give
saying
a shout out
this?
to our sponsor before you interrupt.
Okay.
Shout out to our sponsor, Netflix. Taylor Serrano 3. By the way, Ali Frazier, Bo Holyfield, Duran Leonard, Gotti Ward, on and on.
Pacquiao Barrera.
So that's 4. Is it allowed? I mean, they did go to 3, but it's a quadrilogy, I believe. It's in any event. Now you could enter Taylor Serrano into that mix.
100%.
But anyway, as far as that number is
But it could be the
concerned,
best.
70 million people watched the second stanza, the co-main event. They stole the show. Now they are the show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. You know, I was thinking, what is a good number? What represents a good number? Because obviously they stole it, but it was still the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson show.
Yeah.
I don't know what's a good number for them.
10, 20?
That's a good number.
I mean, more
think
than
10
one. The first one was one, which was a huge deal. You were at the first one.
It was.
It was one of the loudest crowds that I've been to many MSG memorable nights, Knicks games, playoff games. Never heard anything like that because it was 50-50.
Dude, I always say this. I always rank like my best three atmospheres.
Yeah.
And it would always be in the top three. Always second. The first one was Josh Warrington versus Mauricio Lara at Headingley, which unfortunately got called off. But this is the second best atmosphere I've ever experienced. And I expect it to be something similar on Friday.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I'm so excited about this. It's such a big deal.
Wish I was there.
Maybe you will
Wish
be.
I was there, Nikisa. Wish I was there.
You could be.
You're watching Nikisa.
There's
I wish I was
few
there.
More days,
I'd love to be there, Nikisa.
It would be great. Yeah, clip this off. Send it to him.
Send it to Nikisa, yeah.
They announced today. Okay, so let's just set the weekend.
Okay, go.
Because like I said, epicenter of combat sports and in particular boxing. Friday night, 8 p.m. Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. 8-fight card, historic all-women's card. So the first time they fought at MSG, they made history. 2 females headlining a boxing card, never been done before. Now it's an entire card filled with females. And what's great about it is it's not just like a gimmick card. This is not the first ever all-women's card.
No.
There have been others, most notably over in the UK, Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, right? That was a big one. This is the best. This is the best by far. In fact, Guinness World Records today stating that never before in the history of boxing have there been more titles on the line in one single card than the one happening on Friday.
Okay, yeah, cool.
17,
and it's got so many names.
And if you add the ring card, the ring belts, 21 titles contested over 5 fights, 8-fight card. 5 fights have 21 titles on the line, 3 undisputed title fights.
Crazy.
And then the other ones are unified title fights.
It's such a shame, and look at me being negative, but it is such a shame that Clarissa Shields is not on
This is
card.
what you're focusing on.
No, because you know what it is. You
Taylor
know why?
Serrano, Alicia Baumgartner.
You know why? Because
Savannah Marshall,
exactly.
Chantel Cameron.
This is my point.
Yeah.
I mean, Ellie Scottney.
Yeah, Ellie
You can go on and on and on. So you have the quotes, right?
Yeah.
This is it. But then the self-proclaimed quote isn't on it. And she should be on it. Like, this should really be, and there must have been negotiations, but there should be Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields on this card, and then it is by far not just the greatest women's card of all time.
Sure.
I mean, there's an
One of the
argument
best,
the
yeah.
greatest card of all time. So it is a shame that it's not happening. But look, I'm super excited. I honestly can't wait to see these girls duke it up again. And I'm talking the main event, obviously. I think they are. If Katie wins,
Yeah.
she is undoubtedly the greatest female fighter of all time.
Not even close.
Yeah, I'm happy you're saying this. Because I know Demetrius Lee is, but
No.
it's true.
I actually think it's not a question right now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's not a question right now. I know she has 1 less Olympic gold, and I know she has the 1 loss. But in terms of the level of competition, that has to factor. Who she has fought compared to who Clarissa. And by the way, that's not a knock on Clarissa. She can only fight who's presented
no
to her.
one in her weight class, unfortunately.
She is unfortunately, I always compare it to Demetrius Johnson in MMA. Demetrius, unfortunately, cannot be considered the greatest just because the guys that he was fighting at flyweight at the time weren't the creme de la creme, weren't the level of John Jones or GSP. It's the same thing with Clarissa versus Katie. By the way, there is a conversation to be had. The narrative will change dramatically if Amanda wins as well, because Amanda, all of a sudden, she can change. This is almost a referendum on the first 2 fights, because if Amanda wins, especially if she wins in dominant, decisive fashion, she will then say, you see, I deserve to win.
No, I'm not having that. No.
She will do it.
She will do it, but it's up to us to not accept that narrative. The narrative is the first 2 fights were incredibly close. I think it should be 1 apiece.
Who did you think won the first?
Katie.
Second?
Amanda.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I think, and I'd hate for Amanda. Look, I'm fans of both. I'm friends of both.
You're going to tell us the story that you were in Dallas.
No.
Shoes, you
I
went for breakfast.
I was going to say that. But I would hate for Amanda, when it's all said and done, not to. 3-0 doesn't tell the true story of this trilogy if Katie wins. Because if we look back on the record books and all we see is 3-0, it won't really tell us the story of it. I'd hate for Amanda not to have one. Do you know? I'd hate for it to happen.
If she wins,
who?
Amanda, do you think we go down the path of Marquez and Pacquiao? Does that mean we're getting a 4th? They both say no. They both told me yesterday, definitively, this is it. We're done. We're tired of each other.
Katie, though, is so stubborn. Doesn't come across as it, right?
Yeah.
I've been around Katie. She's so stubborn. If she loses, I'm telling you now, she's getting back in there with Amanda. And that's why she's
competitive.
That's
as
why
well.
she is very.
Yeah.
And that's why she's the greatest female fighter of all time. Every time she's in a tough fight with someone, other people are like, you know what, I got to win. I'm out of there. She's like, okay, let's run it back. Oh, Delphine Pursoon was close. What? I lost. Run it back. Chantel Cameron beat me. You know what? Higher weight class, doesn't matter. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
She's that kind of person. Everyone doubts her. In a win, she's like, oh, you doubted me? Okay, no stress. Let's fight again. And she'll fight again.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's incredible.
Do you think if she wins, she retires?
I hope so, but no.
There's only 2 fights left for Katie Taylor, in my opinion. This one and the Cameron trilogy. That's it. And by the way, a lot easier to make that fight now because of the great relationship that she seems to have with MVP, and Cameron's now with MVP. She's no longer with Queensberry, right? So I don't think that fight needs to happen. If she wins, what better way to walk away at MSG on Netflix?
The best way to walk away was when she beat Amanda the first time.
The first time,
MSG,
jeez.
in 2022.
Look how much has happened.
Yeah, no,
she didn't even fight in Ireland at that point.
Yeah, I thought that was the best time. I thought, oh my God, you're not going out. Like, nothing tops this.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything's topped it since. Although she's moved up in weight and become undisputed, and you're right about.
I mean,
the
she did
Netflix
fight
numbers.
on Netflix.
I know,
70,000 people.
Madison Square Garden was just perfect.
Yeah.
I honestly think she'll carry on. I think she'll fight Lauren Price.
No.
I honestly think Katie.
No, there's only 2 left.
I think Katie will have enough. Give her.
No.
If you say to someone, I think she'll fight Lauren Price.
Really?
I think she'll go up another weight class and say, let's have a knock.
Oh my God. Really?
I think at this stage, she's just a fighter.
I would be shocked.
We want to see retire. But like male fighters, they just continue and continue and continue.
Can I tell you, to me, a sign, and this has not been confirmed in any way, shape, or form, but a sign that we are approaching the end is the reunion with her father.
Okay.
For those that don't know, her father obviously got her into boxing, was by her side when she won Olympic gold in 2012, was by her side throughout the entire run as an amateur until 2016. Right before the Olympics, they parted ways. There was a family issue, and Katie decided to go on her way and did not medal. Heartbreaking for her. And then she decides to go with Ross, who's been her trainer throughout her entire career. But only very recently, they've started over the last couple of years. You've seen them kind of be cordial. But recently, and it was actually chronicled very well on the Countdown show, which is available now on Netflix, he reemerges and they start training together. Now, I asked her yesterday, is he going to be in your corner?
What did she say?
She did not give me the answer. She said maybe.
If he's in the corner,
but that feels like a thing like,
if he's in the corner, then that's it.
I want to end with him there.
If he's
it started with him, I want to end with him.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay. You could have told me that before I went into my whole spiel
Well,
about
listen,
Lauren Price.
no, okay. But by the way, if she loses, she might say, hey, I want to go out on a high note. I want him to be in my corner for a win, whatever the case is. What was interesting, though, was Amanda then kind of used that. So without spoiling too much, I did this face-to-face with the two of them. It was actually in this like makeshift subway
lovely.
In Brooklyn. It was very, very cool. And it was very hot. And the dynamic between them has evolved quite a bit. The first time they fought in April of 2022, that was actually one of the first things that I ever did in boxing for DAZN. They brought me in to do the face-to-face. And it was in an empty hotel room in Midtown Manhattan. And yes, they were headlining, but the buzz wasn't quite there. April of 2022. Yeah. I went back and looked at that, like there was no glitz, it was just in a black room. To see how far they've come and how far the rivalry has come and to how far the relationship has come is very interesting because I didn't have to do a lot of talking.
It's spicy now.
In the first face-to-face, I had to do all the talking.
Yeah.
I sat back for like 6-7 minutes because they were going back and forth. And there are a couple of things that come up. Number one, Katie likes to say right off the jump, you don't get to dictate the terms of this fight. The rounds, the length of the rounds. I'm up 2-0.
Yeah.
You don't get to dictate. And by the way, you know what I love about her? She keeps saying, I'm allowed to have an opinion. I'm allowed to have a voice. Why can't I say how I feel? And it's almost like she's convincing herself that it's okay to be a little bit more outspoken because she usually isn't.
She doesn't say anything normally, Katie.
This is a different side of her.
I love that.
Amanda pushes back, though, saying, we shook on it. You promised me we'd go 3-minute rounds.
I don't want to see. This 3-minute round thing is, I understand why Amanda wants it because in their fights, at 1:59, Amanda looks like she's going to knock out Katie. Then all of a sudden, the bell saves Katie. It's happened a couple of times. But the 2 minutes are so action-packed.
So action.
We don't need 3. If anything, 12-2s. If anything, for these two, maybe 2 more rounds. That's it.
The 10-2s have been pretty damn amazing.
Incredible.
Like I was talking to one of her team members yesterday and I was like, do you know the weight limit is 136? It's for the 140-pound titles, but it's 136, and they're basically like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Same weight, same length. Let's just run it
Perfect.
back.
Yeah, both of those.
It's been
both
magic.
of them, yeah, both of them are going to weigh that. Amanda will probably come in lighter than 136.
I actually heard she might be bigger.
Ooh, she's trying to go for size over speed.
Yes. I mean, maybe, look, you have to do some sort of tweaking, right?
Does she?
She did technically lose those 2 fights.
Yeah.
You have to do something. I think she thinks maybe a little bit bigger. I'm this close to stopping her in both fights.
time.
5th round, almost stopped her.
the time.
10th round, almost stopped her in the first fight. First round, remember the first round? Katie was on skates.
I don't know how Katie does it.
Yes.
Katie's powers of recovery need to be studied. Like, she's always out. I saw it twice against Chantel as well. And all of a sudden, she's there. She's so experienced about holding and dark arts, if you like. I know some people have said, the elbows and the headbutts, but she's got everything. But this time round, I don't know, man. I don't know. Katie's 39.
Yeah.
We say she's the GOAT.
How long?
I know, but
She doesn't
when does it
sit
catch
in
up
between
with
rounds.
you?
Remember all this stuff?
Yeah.
She doesn't sit.
'Cause
Her knees.
are
Yes,
bad,
yes.
but she still
She
survives.
still does it.
But when does it catch up with you? When do the 2 Delphin Pursoon fights catch up with you? The Chantel Cameron fights, Tasha Jonas, Lina Daltu, 2 Amanda Serrano. Like, surely there has to be a time.
Not to mention the extensive amateur career, 2 Olympic Games, all this
Sparring
stuff.
men.
Yes.
I mean, she was
Amanda didn't
notoriously
have an
known for
amateur
sparring guys. That's
Yeah.
what she did. And guys weren't, taking it easy. They were hitting her back as well. So, I don't know, man. I hope she wins because I'm a big Katie fan, but
You're rooting for Katie, despite the shoes in Dallas.
am I allowed to say this in New
I don't
York
know.
full of Puerto Ricans? I don't know. Can I get out
By
of
the
the
way,
building?
there's a lot of Irish
A
here
lot of Irish as
well.
well, yeah.
So you're rooting for Katie. You think it would be a nice story, even though you just said moments ago that like Amanda has to get the 3rd.
I feel, what it is? I just feel sorry for Amanda that she hasn't got one.
Yeah.
Because that we say this GOAT conversation that is between Amanda and Clarissa. I mean, if Amanda had one, Amanda's name would be chucked into this GOAT conversation as well. What Amanda's
100%.
done, 8-weight world champion, she'll be chucked into it. But she doesn't have that one over Katie, and she deserves one. So look, whatever happens, I'm happy with whoever wins. That's what I'm saying. So I'm on the fence here.
So the other thing that Katie loves to say that I think grinds Amanda's gears is she needs this more than I do. I don't need this fight. My legacy is set. I'm 2-0 against her. She needs this to right the wrong. And that annoys her as well. That annoys her because then she comes back and saying, no, you need this too because the world doesn't think you won the second
She
fight.
doesn't.
I actually think they both need it. The world does not think Katie won the second fight. She needs to prove that she is the better
One
fighter.
second. Why does she need to prove when she won the first one?
Because
She won the first one.
there are some people actually who still believe that she didn't win the first. You know this, right? They put that narrative out. MVP didn't believe. Her team didn't believe. Like, there were people after the
If
first.
I'm Katie, and I know
It's
Katie,
or
I know
5-5
Katie's
that it was
based in
5-5.
America right now. But if I'm Katie, I'm like, one second. So I came onto an MVP promotion
Yeah.
in your backyard, and somehow the judges backed you.
Yeah, it is
Like,
weird.
come on, it makes no sense. Like, sure, I won fair and square. It was a tough fight
I believe
between
that.
two
But it was,
incredible
by the way, it was close. It was
fighters. I was
6-4.
incredibly close.
There are some people who think 5-5 or Amanda edged it.
Yeah.
And then I think the vast majority of people think that Amanda won the second. But there are some people like, they chronicled this in the countdown, like Roy Jones, Teddy Atlas, all said that Katie won upon second viewing.
Which one?
The second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
So they chronicled some people. I just think this idea, first of all, there's no bigger fight for Katie.
And by the way, sorry, on that, I think the broadcast was very, very
Yeah.
pro Amanda.
Yeah.
Beyond pro
No,
Amanda.
no, it's true.
So I think people were almost convinced because of how the broadcast were
Yeah.
as well. So I think that
There'll
plays
be
a big
different people
part.
involved.
Are you on the broadcast?
I am on the broadcast, but I was not in the booth. So hopefully I was not part of the
I don't
outrage.
think you were, no.
I was trying to keep it. I mean, there's no room for me to opine, but Rosie Perez is not involved. And I think a lot of people were mad at her.
I love Rosie, but she was
Yeah.
very, very...
Maura Ranallo not involved. It's a different cast of characters this time. It's actually a star-studded one. Sinisha Estrada's on it.
No Adi Oladipo. That's
No
fine.
Oladipo,
That's okay, it's
unfortunately.
okay,
I think the budget wasn't big enough, if I'm being honest.
Makes sense, man.
Layla
I'm here.
Ali,
You didn't have to fly me in.
Andre
I'm here.
Ward.
Hey, you didn't have to fly me
Yeah,
in.
no, that is a good point. The other one that Katie likes to say, which I think I don't know. I don't know if it annoys Amanda, but it's another good talking point. She says, if the shoe was on the other foot, if I was down 2-0 to her, she wouldn't give me the opportunity that I'm giving her.
I disagree. I think they both make great money with each other. And that's the one thing Katie's not bringing in it, because Katie doesn't talk money. That's just not Katie's side of things. But I think there's no bigger fight for Amanda than Katie financially. And I think you could say the same for Katie. I know Katie did fantastic numbers against Chantel Cameron and made some good money. First couple of big fights back in Ireland, but they both make millions with each other. They're both great dance partners for each other. We're going to be talking about this trilogy in decades to come. It's
the greatest women's rivalry of all time, obviously the greatest trilogy. And now it's in that conversation with the greatest trilogies of all time.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
And unique because more often than not, if not always, there's no one up 2-0 going into the third. No. But there's no one here thinking like, oh, it's 2-0, like why is this happening?
Yeah.
Right?
Like they were for Wilder Fury.
Yeah.
When
well,
Fury
that was a
up,
draw,
it was like,
but yes.
yeah, you're right. It was a draw the first one, but everyone thought Fury
Sure,
won.
sure.
But no one asked for the third, even though the third was really good. But this is one where we're like, we need to see it again.
Please.
And it could continue. As you say, it could be so close because it is only 10 2-minute rounds. They're only, I say only, but they're only fighting for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, men's championship fights is 36. So 20 minutes is a short time to get a winner. Like you can combine their first two fights and that's kind of what you get for men's championship fights. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get another knock. But if Katie wins, if I'm Katie, I sail off into the sunset and don't look back about fighting Amanda again. Amanda's waiting to knock you out.
Sure.
Amanda wins this by knocking Katie out. Katie wins this on points.
She has to win via knockout because the last two times it went to the judges, she didn't get the nod. What I'm curious about, though, is the eye.
Looks okay. You were up close.
Oh, no. You could tell.
Oh, it's bad.
By the way, this was 8 months ago. It's not that long ago.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman named Nate Diaz in MMA. I mean, he always gets a cut.
When you say there's a gentleman, are you referring to me? You talking to our
it's
audience?
more to the audience.
Okay,
you know, I know it's
that would be very disrespectful.
Yes. But you do this to me all the time.
No.
There's some guy named Josh Padley who took a fight on short notice against. The point is, it's a little bit thicker. Now, I don't think for a second that Katie is going to target it.
Of course she will.
But just
what do you mean? Of course she will.
With the head. So what do you think? Where do you fall in this discussion?
What, the headbutt thing?
Jordan Maldonado, Amanda herself, MVP, they have suggested that
she goes for it with the head?
Yeah.
No, she leads. Sometimes she fights over her front foot.
Yeah.
And her head sort of gets in the way. Could she
Is that dirty?
It's a fight. It's a fight. And when Katie knows she's in a fight, she fights. She's got that Irish blood in her. You know, as much as she is very softly spoken, like she is a complete opposite to who she is outside the ring when she's in the ring.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Honestly, she's no flash, she's no gimmicks. As soon as she gets in that ring, a switch just turns. I've never seen anything like it. She prays before she gets into the ring. It's almost as though every evil element of her gets in the ring and stays in the ring.
Well said.
So she will do what she needs to do to win. That's just how it has been, and that's kind of how it should be. It's without the headbutts.
Sure. It is amazing. She is such a fascinating character. She's one of my favorite people to watch as far as sports are concerned because she wants nothing to do with the limelight. It's almost comical that she's the one on Netflix now twice. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. She chose to live in Connecticut to just be away. She walks down the street in Dublin. She can't walk a meter, right?
She is the most famous Irish sports star ever.
She lives in Connecticut. She goes to the supermarket. There's actually a great scene with her and her mom buying groceries. Not a soul goes up to her. Not a soul talks to her. No one knows who she is, and she wants it that way.
It's the most unlikeliest star. Like, this is someone who doesn't want to be a star that is a star.
Yeah.
And you compare it to people that are desperate to be stars and they somehow can't get fans to gravitate.
Yes.
She's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
She's almost like, leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
It's incredible, yet people will tune in to see her fight because they know she delivers. Like, one thing these two will always give you is a great fight. Like, you don't even need to promote it because you just know this is what they do. This is what they've been doing with each other. This is what they've been doing against other opponents. I think they're incredible. And it's funny because we're talking about, I'd love to see where people would have Katie and Amanda and Clarissa on a male and female pound for pound list. Like a genuine, because what Katie's done in terms of, and what Amanda's done
as well, 7 weight classes.
It's incredible. What Clarissa's done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'd love to see where people have them. Because Katie's been beaten some incredibly talented females.
So Katie Amanda 3, Taylor Serrano. By the way, it kind of just like flows like Gotti Ward flows. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Taylor Serrano
flows. Yeah. It's crazy how, maybe just because we've said it so many times. Alicia Baumgartner finally returning.
Thank God.
Big stage against Jennifer Miranda.
We deserve some credit for that.
Yeah, I think we pushed
We
for it.
really pushed for it.
Yeah. Ellie Scottney recently signed.
Happy for her.
Pride of UK, I believe a Crystal Palace supporter.
Yep, she is.
Going up against Yamileth Mercado.
Oh, well done.
Yeah,
How many times did you take you to pronounce that?
Nah, she fought Amanda Serrano on the first Jake Paul Tyron Woodley card back in August of 2021.
Okay.
Undefeated since, obviously lost that fight. Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall is kind of flying under the radar.
Completely.
But a big fight for Savannah. She hasn't fought in about 2 years in boxing, had the MMA fight. But I think an opportunity, because there's some big fights for her if she can get on a roll here.
Yeah, it's the one. I mean,
she's kind of been
we
forgotten
know the
about.
one we all want. And yeah, she has been forgotten about a bit. That thing that they both did, going to the PFL, and
It was fine.
it was a waste of time.
What I am curious about, though, and by the way, the reason I was going through that, I was going to ask you, like, what's your sort of sleeper fight? But just as an aside, we saw what going to boxing did to Connor's stance. Never quite the same. He changed.
Interesting.
I wonder what this will do to Savannah, because I actually was listening to her speak to Steve Bunce. Shout out to the legend Buncey.
Yep.
And she was talking about how it like completely changed her fighting style, having to do jiu-jitsu, having to do wrestling. She had to change everything. Remember, if you're an orthodox fighter, wrestling, your right foot is forward.
Okay.
If you're an orthodox boxer, your left foot is forward. So like you just have to change. And I know she just fought once, but she
No,
did
but she
put
was
several
training
months
for
in.
over a year.
I do wonder. She talked about it, how she had to kind of like reprogram her brain. And her head trainer, Peter Fury, said that at the beginning, like they had to kind of like go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Now, I do think everything equal, she's a better fighter than Shadeja Green. She should beat Shadeja Green. She has a greater resume, but I'm curious to see how she looks after 2 years.
I don't know if it'll be as bad as we think. I can only compare it with Clarissa, who again did the MMA thing as well, did a bit of wrestling, did a bit of jiu-jitsu. And I know she didn't spend as long at it as Savannah has, and she's had more fights than Savannah, but Clarissa still looks great when she came back.
Yeah.
There was no switch off. She still looked really
But I
sharp.
don't think
and
she
good.
fought anyone as good as Shadeja.
Good shout. That's a good shout.
But yes,
Good
it
shout.
is a point.
And look, Shadeja's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, Shadeja comes and she fights. And I think this is good for Savannah, that she's not fighting someone that's going to run and move, which could affect then your balance and how you place your feet. She's fighting someone that's going to stay in the pocket and fight her. Because Shadeja's as big, or at least as strong as Savannah. So I think that could benefit Savannah. And that is the sleeper fight. That's the one where...
Is that your sleeper fight?
Yeah, because you generally have... I mean, the other fights, I know you mentioned sort of titles and champions, but there is a favourite, like an obvious favourite in the other ones. If I were to pick it, Alicia's going to win. I think Chantel's going to win. Ellie Scottney's going to win. But I think this one, with Savannah only having one boxing match in 2 years, this is a close fight. And the winner really, I know, is Clarissa Shields, isn't it? The winner should fight Clarissa. So I think there's a lot on the line for this one as well. So I think this is my sleeper fight. And this is the one where I think we are going to get some like action. I think both girls are going to go for the knockout. This isn't a boxing match. This is a fight.
Yeah, Clarissa and Shadeja have been going back and forth. Yeah. My fellow Canadian, the Olympian Tam Tebow on the undercard as well. I'm very excited about that. I actually think the sleeper all-action fight on the card is going to be Shernika Johnson against Sharetta Metcalf, because those two are like brawlers. Yeah. Sharetta Metcalf has a great story. She used to fight like in the underground Dallas fight scene.
Love it.
Like a true proper fighter. And Johnson has been known to get into scraps. Remember that,
she loves
that
the
infamous cut above her eye, which she was in here earlier. The scar is still very apparent. That's now for Undisputed, because Dina Thorslund had 2 of the belts. She got pregnant, and so now it's for Undisputed Bantamweight. So that's the third.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Undisputed
And Shanika's
fight.
a strange one. Well, it's not strange. She doesn't look like she likes a scrap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's very glamorous, very beautiful. She will go in there and have a fight.
Yeah, I think that would
I've seen
be a
her
good
fight
one.
in the UK a few times as well. So, again, we had her on, didn't we?
We did.
We pushed and said, why are you not,
with MVP?
With MVP.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she gets signed by MVP. Do we get any thanks? Any plaudits for it? No.
Who wins? Taylor or Serrano? Ultimately. Not who you want to win.
Serrano.
You think so?
I think Serrano does it.
Katie can't retire on a loss.
I think Serrano does it. That's why I don't think she retires.
Okay, so you think
I think
ultimately
Serrano
you think what
does it.
happens is Serrano wins, Katie doesn't retire. Do you think she pushes for the 4th at this point? There's no rematch clause, by the way. Or do you think she goes to The other thing is, go to Cameron, you say, okay, I'm 2-1, go to Cameron, back in Ireland, maybe croak. I don't know, we're probably...
You've got to get Amanda to Ireland.
Oh, she'll never do it. She'll never do it.
She won't do it?
No, I would be shocked.
Okay, well then you go Chantel Cameron.
Although
Chantel's too big for Katie. She honestly, like, seeing them two up close, Chantel's just a bit too big. I know some might say, well, Amanda's too big for Katie as well. I get it, but I think at this stage, 39, all the wear and tear, going to a Chantel Cameron who is so bitter and angry about not getting the third fight that she felt that she deserved, which really should happen, it being one apiece. I would love I'd love both to retire, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'd love Katie to say
50
enough.
fights for Amanda Serrano.
Yeah. How old's Amanda? I know Katie's 39.
Late 30s, yeah.
Enough. You both made great money. You're both going to go down in the history books as two of the greatest to ever do it.
There's so many fights for Amanda still, though.
That's the problem.
Like Amanda versus Baumgartner would be incredible.
Dude, I've been saying that's the one.
Incredible.
I mean, two hitters.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And by the way, MVP continuing to add women to their stable today, announcing that they've signed Ebony Bridges.
What?
Yeah. They signed
Are
her
you
as well.
serious?
Like,
I need to see an announcement.
Oh, yeah. 5 months after she gave birth. And Hearns and Shanika have had a bit of a turf war as well.
See an Australian dust
So
up.
they continue.
I'm so surprised by this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They continue to
They've
add.
taken over.
Yeah. I think what they've done is very smart, as we said. Look, the other behemoth right now in boxing, Riyadh season, ring, they're doing their thing, but not having as many women fights for whatever reason. You can't do everything. Hey, let's focus on this. Now, I asked Nikisa this question yesterday. He said, no, this was the plan dating back to 2021.
What, to take all the females?
That's what they said. We signed Amanda first, and then we kept growing it. And yes, they did. But to go all in like this, especially in a time here in America where women's sports on fire, WNBA on fire, Caitlin Clark, the women's national team in soccer on fire. So I think it's a very, very smart thing. Women's MMA has enjoyed great times, maybe not so much as much, these days. I think it's brilliant what they're doing.
They need Fundora.
Oh my God.
They need Fundora. Whether or not she is loaned out, if you like, to put on the show, maybe a Sky Nicholson as well. But Fundora,
because there's not everyone on this card is an MVP fighter.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Right.
So that makes sense. But no, I think Jake and Nikisa are doing fantastic things.
You're just saying that
if they do have any spare tickets for Friday, I'd be very, very, very
well,
happy.
if you are not in attendance on Friday, I do want to remind you that you can watch Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3, or should I say Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3. However, I am hearing that Amanda is walking second, even though she's not the champ. So maybe it is Amanda Serrano versus Katie.
That's wrong.
The point is,
that's wrong.
It all goes down this Friday, live on Netflix, July 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Prelims, by the way, on the MVP and Netflix YouTube channel. And oh, by the way, for the first time ever, the weigh-ins are going to air live on Netflix.
Can I go back? Can I go back to the fact
on
that
the Netflix platform?
Can I go back to the fact that I'm in New York? Can you imagine me watching this from a hotel room on Netflix?
Do you have a proper login? Do you have the right type of?
Yeah.
By the way, no pay-per-view required. If you got a subscription, even the basic package.
Yeah. Incredible.
No VPN needed.
Nothing.
It's a big deal.
It's a massive deal.
It's a big freaking deal. So thank you so much to our good friends at Netflix. Very excited. And by the way, the open workouts are happening right now at the Oculus, downtown, beautiful FiDi, New York City. They have a couple of cards at the workouts, which is a cool thing. Shout out to, I have to give a shout out to the Riyadh season guys. They were kind of the first ones to do this, put some fights on the open workout scene. Our very own Pete Carroll is actually there. He sent us this picture as they're filling it up. Look at that scene. Look at
that's incredible.
So they gave me some stick earlier. I called them blow-up dolls, and they said that was inappropriate. I'm just saying, like...
Well, 1 second. What time is this airing out in the UK? What you're saying? Blow-up dolls?
10:30.
Okay, we're going past
what would you call that?
Watershed.
Blow-up
just
statues?
Statues would be nice.
Okay.
Blow-up dolls would represent something else.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a very...
By the way, no, it's incredible.
Look at that. Oh,
honestly,
there's the action right there. Crystal Rosado. So PT will join us in about 15 minutes' time to give us a report on the scene over there. But let's transition to the other action.
Okay.
Which you will
Here
be
we
at.
go. Here we go now.
You'll
Let's go.
be at July 12th, the next day, 24 hours. What a 24-hour stretch.
Yeah.
Maybe like the greatest in New York City boxing history, and there have been some great nights. This time at Louis Armstrong Stadium.
Can't wait to see this.
Flushing Meadows, Queens. We've talked about this before. How this, I think, is going to be much better than the Times Square idea because it's A, a proper stadium, and B, I've been to a wrestling event there, and because the seats go there's not a lot of
kind of gladiatorial.
Space. Yes, there's not a lot of space because it's just a tennis court.
What an amazing idea! I can't believe that
be great.
they've not had a boxing event at Wimbledon.
We've talked about this as well, but I think they're a little too hoity-toity.
Maybe, yeah.
We did see AJ there with Eddie Hearn a couple days ago.
Double-breasted suits. Yeah, it looks smart.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Ring 3.
Yes.
It's headlined technically by Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. I think the bigger, more important fight is Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. I think the stakes are greater.
Yeah.
WBC lightweight title fight.
Yeah, no, you are right. You are right. If we do it at that, title fight should sort of supersede.
I'm surprised, actually. Shakur's a local guy. I know Edgar's a local guy as well, but Shakur's the bigger name, no? Of the four?
Shakur's the bigger name of the four, but the combined names of Zepeda and Shakur, I think, I think are smaller than Belanga and Shiraz.
You think so?
Yeah,
I mean,
I do.
6 and 1, half dozen the other, but I was surprised.
Yeah.
When I heard about this.
Yeah, I
In any
think
event,
haven't they kind of built it as two mains? Haven't they kind of sold
sure,
it
but
as
the
that?
last fight
Yeah.
is Berlanga versus Shiraz. Which one are you more looking forward to?
Belanga Shiraz.
Why?
Because I have no idea what's going to happen. I've gone back and forth. I've tried to remove my London bias and the fact that I'm good friends with Hamza. Hamza's like, when you think about it, it's coming off a draw, which really was a defeat, if we've been honest. He's moving up in weight. He's moved camp. He's moved trainer. And he's fighting a puncher. There's a lot going against him. There's a lot of pressure on Hamza. But there's also so much pressure on Edgar. The last time he fought that guy that was so out of shape, he looked like literally they just found him off the streets. Remember that guy at the weigh-in? And before that was Canelo.
Yeah.
Which was a defeat. I know he boxed well for a couple of rounds, but he got beat by Canelo. So I don't know where Edgar is either. So I think both of them have so much pressure on them.
Can I tell you what I love about this card? I think all four have a tremendous amount of pressure.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Who has more pressure than Shakur?
No one.
Every day, every time I go on Twitter these days, or X, it's another post from Turkey himself, like almost needling him.
Yeah. We're going to make the ring smaller.
We're going to make the ring smaller.
Yeah.
Don't run. No Tom and
But
Jerry
then I saw
fights.
a photo with, it's almost like there was okay, I'm sorry, here's a photo with us.
I don't
Let's
know.
go.
I don't know what he says. Hey, he's thinking about me. I don't care. This is his way of promoting me, and he's right. People are talking about Shakur Stevenson. But let's be honest. The Padley fight, it was great, but everyone expected him to win.
Yeah.
The last two fights under the Top Rank umbrella weren't great. This is the final fight on his Matchroom deal. The consensus seems to be that he's moving on. He's trying to get the tank fight. You can't get the tank fight if you're winning sort of ho-hum. Now, I think the criticism that he gets is unfair.
Okay.
The whole point is hit and not get hit. It is prize fighting. It is sports entertainment. You have to get people to want to watch you to fight and pay to watch you to fight.
Yeah.
So like you have to mix some of it. But Floyd Mayweather made a whole career out of hitting and not getting hit, right? Floyd Mayweather didn't knock out a lot of people. He wasn't in brawls.
Yeah, I guess at Shakur's weight he did. When he was a lightweight, he was completely different, right? I mean, when he switched from Pretty Boy to Money, you're correct. It was almost a case of survive. And he was like that because his hands were so brittle, Floyd.
Yeah.
Which is quite similar to Shakur.
Yeah.
He has bad hands. Like, I genuinely believe
When I shook his hand earlier,
same.
he doesn't
want to fully grip it.
Yeah.
And it's because they're so brittle.
Yeah. I don't know about brittle, but maybe he's just protecting
worried,
the moneymakers.
right? Maybe he's worried. And I'm telling you now, if he didn't have hand problems, I think he'd be sleeping a lot of these guys. I think he'd really sit down on his shots and really crack. I saw it against Padley a little bit, where he's like, okay, I've just got, because there was so much pressure about knocking out Padley, it's almost like he took the risk of hurting his hands. Like, I've just got to get rid of this guy. I'm going to start landing punches. And I think he's going to do the same thing to Zepeda. I am a bit nervous for Shakur, because I think a lot of people are now sleeping on Zepeda because Zepeda's last two performances against Tevin Farmer. Zepeda's good.
Yeah.
Zepeda's really good.
Those performances, I think, haven't aged well because Farmer got smoked by Schofield.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
No, boxing, exactly. It isn't like
this
that.
math doesn't work, but I think people were like, wait a second, Schofield extinguished him in like a minute and 22 seconds or something crazy, and now they're like, wait a second, and he went toe-to-toe with this guy twice. I think a lot of people thought maybe he won the first fight.
Yeah.
You were there, right?
I was there for that in Riyadh.
Yeah. It was the Latino night card.
Yeah, it was, and I thought Tevin Farmer maybe did enough to win.
Okay.
I thought Zepeda won the second fight, but you're right. I mean, it basically showed that Zepeda struggled against a Tevin Farmer that maybe isn't as sort of, he's back as we thought he was. But as you say, apples and oranges. I just think Shakur needs to make a statement. That he's under so much pressure to make a statement. I feel like him and Devin Haney are under so much pressure, the runners, when they're really good boxers. But I think Shakur will make a statement like he did against Oscar Valdez.
Okay.
I think he's going to look that good.
I think he has the most to gain. He's the biggest name of the four. I think you would agree.
Yeah.
He's the biggest name of the four. He's the best fighter of the four.
Yep.
He's the only one who's top 10 pound for pound. But I do think he has the most heat on him right now.
Yeah.
He's a target right now.
He can't, this can't even be a 116, 112 job.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
That's crazy.
They will boo him. They will
that is crazy.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
He's fighting an unbeaten Zepeda.
Yeah.
Unbeaten.
Interim
Like Zepeda.
champ, 33-0.
And he can't just win on points.
No.
He's somehow got to stop him.
If he skunks him, if it's 12 rounds to none.
Oh. And it's boring.
People will.
I don't even want to imagine.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure on him. But he's got such a good team around him, not just his management, but I mean, he's on the phone to Floyd, he's on the phone to Andre Ward, he's on the phone to Terrence. So he's got good people around him who've experienced this as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Andre Ward experienced this throughout his career. So did Floyd, as you mentioned, towards the tail end. And to a certain point, so is Terrence as well. So he's got great people around him that have been there and done it.
Do you think he sticks around with Matchroom? Or do you think it's an
hope
awkward
he
fit?
does. I don't know. I feel like, and again, I know people, Eddie, work with Matchroom, but I feel like Eddie does such a good job of self-promoting his fighters.
I think, yeah,
I think he's
best in the
fantastic at
business.
it. Like, he will make you believe Shakur is the greatest fighter ever. And he will make sure he kind of, all these teams go all the way out to kind of put everything behind their fighters. So I'm always surprised when someone signs with Eddie delivers, then they go. It baffles me. Like, Edgar
And this is
Belanga's a
such
good
a short
example.
stint.
Yeah, Edgar got the
Yeah.
Canelo fight, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh? Why would you leave? It kind of baffles me. But look, we don't understand what goes on behind the scenes in terms of money splits. But maybe fighters just believe they can do it themselves now. Maybe they get to a stage where they're like, I can kind of self-promote me. I don't need you.
Only thing I wonder is, does he think that he could get the Tank fight easier
Without
Eddie? For whatever reason, I don't know. But
Maybe.
the Tank one is up in the air as well because, first of all, they haven't officially announced August 16th,
Yeah.
the rematch, which is a little bit weird. It's July 8th. That's a little strange.
Yeah, that means this ain't happening.
A. B. The Jake Paul Tank thing is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not saying this is what we want to see or endorsing it, but it is a real thing that was
Okay.
going to happen if Tank beat Lamont
Yeah.
back in Brooklyn a few months ago. And so, okay,
I'd be so upset if that were to happen.
before Shakur.
Before anyone.
Now you're not getting tickets.
No, before
But-
anyone.
now
Sorry.
it's gone.
Can we edit
They were-
that?
they were
Can
printing
we
them?
edit? Can we
They were
edit?
printing
Okay, so
them.
one second. Hear me out.
Right.
No, but on a serious note, I'd be so upset. Considering what's in front of Javante, like, I could name 10 fighters
Yeah.
that Javante should be fighting. Like, if he were to kind of say, skip that and go to Jake, I'd be
Paul's
so
a-
upset.
14th ranked fighter in the WBA.
Yeah, cruiserweight.
How do you feel about this, by the way?
That's a joke, isn't it?
Is it really a joke, though?
it's a joke, it's a
Why is it a joke?
Because he's not the 14th best cruiserweight. There are people out there. There are cruiserweights that have, and I understand the money aspect. And Jake Paul's. By the way, I think Jake Paul's incredible in what he's done. I'm not just saying that because I want tickets. I think he's incredible what he's done. But there are people out there that have fought for national titles
Sure.
in any country who should be ranked. Who have legit.
It's
fought
funny
as-
because, like, I think
and
most
he's not
people on the
ranked. It makes no
on the
sense.
planet can't name more than 4 cruiserweights.
But they shouldn't have to.
No,
But that
the point is,
that
but then you
shouldn't
see
be a
people
thing.
getting so riled up, and it's like, okay, at least like present who you think should be there. No, isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Like you could name Jaya Pataya, you can
Yeah.
name Zerto, Badu Jack.
Yeah. But there's even people like, in the UK, there's people like Alois Jr.,
Yeah.
who I don't think's ranked in the top 15.
Now this is just the WBA,
Yeah.
and let's be honest, some of these rankings have been
Was this
wacky
fight
for a
against
long
Chavez, was it sanctioned by the WBA? I don't believe it was.
No.
So if it wasn't sanctioned by the WBA,
Why
how
are
did
they?
WBA put him in the
Yeah.
rankings? So
Okay,
it's a bit-
but how about the wackiness of the fact that now they say that they're going to like review it?
Yeah.
What's changed in the last week? You got some blowback?
Yeah,
That
that's
just shows how fickle
that
all
shows
of this
how
is.
weak it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually debating with someone. Is this as bad as Manny Pacquiao being ranked number 5 by the WBC? Now, Manny Pacquiao not having
He is
won a fight for 5 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not being
I
ranked.
don't know which so what was the answer? Is it as bad?
It just, no, we both agreed, me and this person that were talking, that this tells you why we need a world governing body.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they just make up things as
But
they
how
go
many
along.
times has it been? It's like, oh, this guy's the number 1 contender, and it's like, what? What did he?
Where's
do?
it come from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or some other. I don't know. Ultimately, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, there are 15 other cruiserweights
No, but
on the planet
they
better than
certainly
him.
are. You know the easiest thing
Because
for,
I can't name them.
no, but nor can I, and I'm a boxing.
Right.
Nor can I. But the easiest thing for Jake to do, if you want to get ranked without no problems whatsoever, is fight the number 15th ranked best cruiserweight in the US. Just fight that guy.
Sure.
Just fight that guy,
I couldn't
and
agree
it's
more.
over and
By
done
the way,
with.
I'm not
By the way-
campaigning for him to
By the
be
way,
ranked.
that's it.
I don't
No
think
one
he-
would ever complain.
Right.
No one would ever complain. And by the way, Jake could maybe beat that guy. I don't know who that guy is. But that guy right now is out there. And if you want to be ranked, fight that guy.
What did you think of the win over Chavez?
It
We
was
didn't
actually
have-
okay.
Yeah, it was
It was
fine.
actually, it was all right. I
Listen,
mean,
he went
Chavez
the distance,
decided
he
to
went
turn
10
up.
rounds.
Yeah, and then he got deported, didn't he?
Ah, that was
which is crazy.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
crazy, by the way. The stories on that are crazy, but it's a whole nother show. Crazy. But it's almost like Chavez decided to start a
Got
fight.
deported.
Sorry. It was, just,
They were like, take this guy away.
it was the
You lost to
craziest
Jake
thing.
Paul.
The craziest thing ever. I saw the story and I was like,
Yeah,
is this
the,
real?
The footage of him being
like, is this
detained
real?
is wild.
I couldn't
And now they
believe
don't know
it.
where he is.
I couldn't believe it. honestly. But yeah, look, Jake's a professional fighter. Jake has a professional team around him. He's been doing this, 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Jake's good.
2020.
But I completely forgot about Jake when it comes to YouTube boxing.
No.
I don't even.
And by the way, those
Jake.
cards aren't YouTube boxing cards.
No.
There's not a single NFL guy versus NBA guy or YouTube guy. Like that card, actually, the MVP card / Golden Boy card in Anaheim was the best one they've ever put on.
Yeah, agreed.
In terms of like the action,
Yeah.
This young man Julian Rodriguez beat Avius Griffin in a thriller in the 10th round. He knocked him out.
Have Zerdo on there against Junior Dorticus. I mean, Zerdo's legit. But did you see the size difference?
Yeah.
And that's what scared me a bit when we talk about Jake as a cruiserweight. And obviously that is Jake's build. But when he did a face-off with Zerdo, I was like, my God. And Zerdo's not the biggest cruiserweight.
Big guy.
I was like, wow. There's a bit of a size difference.
The only thing, listen, you wanna argue or be upset about the 14, totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to argue about the opponents, totally okay with that. You want to argue about him picking MMA guy, like all this, I think is very, very, very fair game.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that gets me, that grinds my gears, if you will, is when people say like, "Oh, he's hurt boxing." Is it like look at the card this Friday?
I can't take that.
Look at the opportunities. Look at the paydays.
Yeah.
Look at the platforms. That really like none of this has anything to do with him.
Do you know how many things hurt boxing before we get to Jake?
Yeah.
Like Jake must be number 919. Like
If that,
If
yeah.
that. I mean, corrupt judges, awful scorecards, drugs in boxing. Like, do you know how many issues boxing has? So when people say, "Oh, Jake's hurting boxing," I'm like, "Are you crazy?" Go and speak to Amanda Serrano right now about how he changed her life. And other fighters now, all these fighters now signed to MVP and the promotion push they're getting, the events, people getting paid. Absolute nonsense. I'm not having that.
Every single women's boxer on the planet right now is looking at this card and being like, I mean, Sharnika told me before she was added to it, she had massive FOMO. She's like, look at this. Look what's happening to women's boxing and I can't be a part of it. This doesn't happen without him.
100%.
And so, again, you can hate him but like in terms of what they've done, to me, it's only been a positive. And people will say that I'm glazing or I'm being no. You are being a certified hater. You are just being delusional if you say otherwise.
Yeah, no, I think what he's done for boxing's been insane. It surprises me just how good it's been. I'd never expected a proper promotional company out of this. Like MVP Promotions, I was like, this isn't going to last. All of a sudden, it's one of the biggest promotional companies.
We used to include them with Misfits. They are two totally different entities at this point.
Completely.
Not even in the same stratosphere.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I mean, I guess some people just want to see Jake fight someone like, quote unquote, real.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. And I think we're screaming for it because I think there are some people out there that believe he could actually do it. I mean, obviously we had Oscar, didn't we? We spoke to Oscar a few weeks ago. And I said, do you think he can actually fight for a world title? And Oscar, for the first time, was like, maybe.
The one to make, in my opinion, if this is what you truly want, do the Badu Jack fight. He's a little bit older, right? Zerdo and Jai, I think, are a bridge too far.
Stay away.
Yes. From
forever.
Jai. Yes.
Zerdo even maybe. Jai? Zerdo will actually...
No, Jai.
Not carry him, but Zerdo won't try to take his head off. Jai will try to end him in a round.
Remember the build-up to Taylor Serrano 1? I did the face-to-face with Eddie and Jake, and Eddie was bringing up Jai. He's like, okay, you're mid-level, like, fight. I got a guy named Jai Pataya. You should fight him. And this was 2022.
So that's before Jai became this monster.
Yeah. No,
he's
stay
one of the
stay
scariest.
Stay away.
Badu Jack's a great shot. I think Badu would beat him.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think he would promote it as well. I think it would be a good...
Badu Jack will... Yeah, that's the one. That's the world title fight.
Yeah, WBC.
Saying just give it to him. Give him the world title shot.
Fuck it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, agreed. You know what? Just give it to him.
Just go.
Let's see.
Why not?
I agree.
I'm more interested in that than the Chavez fight. Or, honestly, I'm more interested in that than the Tank fight. Right?
I think that would be so interesting.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
If you want to defend being ranked, if you want to defend and we could play the game all day long, like, is Nate Diaz
better? Do you think Jake would fight Badu?
I don't know. I don't know if they think he's big enough. No, I've never asked.
So I wasn't talking about it from that standpoint. I was talking about like the fear of fighting Badu. Not a case of whether Badu, because Jake has fought some people that we don't know.
Yeah. No, I know.
I mean that, where Jake's carried the
Badu's
promotion.
Level. Those are sort of like bridge fights to get to the Tyson fight. Anyway, we could talk about this all day long. We're talking about the promotion. We talked about the open workouts, which are actually happening right now, a few miles from us, just a couple miles in the financial district at the Oculus. And we have a correspondent.
Do we?
An Ariel correspondent, our good friend P.T. Carroll, who flew in from Dublin to cover this
Oh my
great
God,
event. Look
this
at
is
him.
incredible.
Look at him, PT. You know yourself ringside at the open workouts. Set the scene for us, PT. I know it's a little bit hard to hear us, so we're going to lay out and let you do your thing. What's going on over there at the open workouts?
You must think I have arms on me like Ariel Oladipo. I've been holding this thing up waiting for you to throw for me for about 5 minutes.
Sorry.
And I'm already in bits. But we have the ring obviously just here. We just saw Rosado put on a great show. We have Jake Paul's boxing bullies all over the place out here. They're all freaking out every time he gets anywhere near us. If you can look around here, do you see the terraces behind me?
Amazing.
There's people all over the place. Everywhere you look, there's people looking down at this event. There's people trying to get in from every angle. It's a very, very big deal. A lot of people stopping here to see what's going on. The first fight is done. Getting ready for the first workouts of the day. Very exciting. Never seen anything like it before. And yes, Ariel, I suppose you could call them blow-up dolls.
That was my question. Are they? I agree with you, Pete. I think they are blow-up dolls. I don't know if we can. Can we say this?
I don't
Can
know.
we say
I
that
don't know.
word?
I was
Can
getting
we
a
say
lot of
that
stick
phrase?
for this.
I'm not quite sure. What do you make of these midweek boxing events? We've seen them with Riyadh season. Obviously, this is the first time MVP have done it. What do you make of it?
I like it, man. There's a real buzz about the place. I think Katie and Toronto obviously had fantastic 2 fights already. But this kind of event starting so far out, like the fight week feels massive. Like I've never seen anything like this. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong that day, but I've never seen boxing fights happening at an open workout. It adds a completely different energy to the whole thing. I don't know if you can see through the ropes there, but Jake Paul and Nikisa are sitting just over here. But
hey, go up to them. Hey, go up to them. That should be the challenge.
Yeah,
Can you go up to them? Let's go up to them.
Rope?
But you're Beatsy Carroll. Do they know who he is?
Come on,
Come
PT.
on, you can climb over.
Get in there. Just
on,
rush it.
try.
Rush
Just
it.
try.
The boys are quite beefy. I'm not gonna lie to you. So for smaller, I might have a go, but it's not happening. But like this is the crowd we have here for the first fight of the day is insane. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when Katie and Serrano get out here for the open workout? I know there's another fight in about an hour's time as well. Yeah, very exciting. A lot of the Irish media arrived in today, so that's going to add a lot of colour to it as well. But yes, really, really cool event. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how things unfold throughout the week. Are there any chance of any tickets for the Club World Cup? What's going on, man?
I see what we can do. If any of you guys can sort me out with a ticket for this, I mean, I can sort you out a ticket for the Club World Cup. Is that the deal? I think that's a great deal.
I like it. I thought we were good mates. I thought you're just going to go in. I thought you'd have the tickets ready for Ariel there. Get a quick message. Look, you're there, the VIP section. You're going to be there. I backed Paris Saint-Germain before the tournament started, truth be told. So very excited for the game tomorrow.
Thank you for that, PT. No, it's great insight. Great insight on the football. PT, I was telling Ade before, and I've said it before, you were the one to introduce me to Katie Taylor. You were the one to introduce us to Conor McGregor, to anyone that comes out of Ireland. You've been covering her for a very long time. You know about her journey. You know about her story. We were debating, could this be the last one? With a win, with a loss. Based on what you know of Katie, now with the reunion of her dad, what sense are you getting as we approach the fight in 3 days? Could this, in fact, be the last time we see Katie Taylor fight?
I definitely think it's possible. I think the fact that her father is back, it kind of feels like one last hurrah to me. I could be completely wrong. If I know one thing about Katie Taylor, it's the thing that pisses her off more than anything in the world is people talking about her retiring. She's still on top of her game as far as she's concerned. She's still one of the best boxers in the world as far as she's concerned. So I think she gets a bit confused when the conversation keeps coming back to retirement. But at her age, I think it's natural. I think she's been boxing her whole life at the highest level possible. She has given everything to this sport. Olympic boxing, women's Olympic boxing would not be a sport if it wasn't for Katie Taylor. She has put this sport on a completely different stratosphere than it's ever been before. So I understand to some degree, but there is a sense of how much more do you need to prove? You've done absolutely everything. All of the Irish people are watching these fights, and we can see the punishment that she's taken.
Yeah.
And it's kind of at this point, it's like, well, what do you need to prove? You're the greatest of all time. You're a beacon of sporting brilliance, the likes of this country. Ireland has never seen. There is nobody in Ireland. She is the most unanimously adored person in Irish sport. Honest to God, I don't know one person with a bad word to say about it. I know people coming over from Ireland to watch this fight. I know people coming from all over America immigrants who live here to see this. So look, I don't know what else there is to do, lads. When you think about, like, the only thing I worry is if she loses, I think it will make her want to fight more.
Yeah.
We saw what happened with the Chantel Cameron fight. Do you remember how pissed off she was? I can remember. She went backstage. Eddie Hearn was walking by press row, and he said, "Oh, she is pissed. There's no way she's retiring. She's going to be right back in there." And I fear if Serrano eventually gets the nod, and a lot of Irish people feel like, are they just going to keep doing this fight until she gets the nod? But if she doesn't win this fight, does that mean Katie's going to come back and return to do a best of 5 situation? I don't know, man.
Man, great insight from Pizzi, who really has been
incredible
covering Katie, and I can't imagine how surreal it must be for you to be there with the statues, whatever you want to call them, in New York City, about to see her fight on Netflix at Madison Square Garden, all women's card. Like, I mean, for the person who got women into the Olympic Games in 2012 to now be the torchbearer for this all-women's card, the greatest one of all time, at a place like MSG, must be pretty damn cool. And honestly, I know you're a very proud person, a proud Irishman. It must be a pretty proud moment for you to be here covering it. So I'm so happy that you are here doing this.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. And look, I was never a boxing guy, but the opportunity to cover Katie's career came along when I was working for an Irish publication at the very start of her pro career. She was already a hero in Ireland. She was already a national treasure. And to be able to jump in at this pro journey and the wild place it's taken us, it's been absolutely amazing. Her team have always been fantastic. Katie's always been so kind to me and generous with her time. So, yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. And I can't wait to see what happens in Madison Square Garden, because the first time around, it was one of the greatest fights anyone's ever witnessed. And I think the Puerto Rican and Irish communities are going to come out and show the world what it means to them, and show the world how proud they are of their heritage on Friday night.
Pizzi, you're a legend.
Oh, what a dude.
Enjoy your time out there. Thank you very much. Great reporting. Our special correspondent, the great Pizzi Carroll, the host of the critically acclaimed podcast, The Crack, which will have a special preview episode this Friday and a post-show this Saturday night on the Ariel Helwani Show podcast feed. Thank you so much, Pizzi. Enjoy, and tell Tam Thibault, my fellow Canadian, that I say hello and wish her the best on Friday as well.
She was asking for you, man.
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't.
I'm sure she was. Thank you, Pizzi. Great stuff. There he is, the one and only Pizzi Carroll, the host of The Crack. What a legend he is. By the way, what a legend you are. I was on social media earlier.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but see an incredible post. In fact, at first I thought it was like a I hate to say it. It shocked me. It was.
You're gonna.
Was it like a? What do we have it? Do we have it? What is this? What is this? From 3 a.m. buses to the Premier League. Ade Oladipo is
greatness
proof that
grows.
greatness grows in quiet places.
History made.
What is this?
Wow, that's incredible.
What is going on here?
I don't know. I mean,
what is get in the room?
They reached out to me and they were like, Ade, your story is incredible and like you inspire people.
What are the 3 a.m. buses?
No, so it's funny actually. It's not a funny story. I got the Sky Sports job.
Yeah.
At the time, I applied for it, got it. But Sky Sports Studio Osterley is about an hour and a half away from where I used to live in Stratford. And the trains didn't work that early to get a train there. I didn't have a car, so I had to get 4 buses to get to there. So I had to get like the night bus at 3 o'clock and then another bus.
Wow.
So I then got to the studios at 7 in the morning as everyone else is driving in. And they're thinking, oh, Ade, you must have a car. And I'm like, no, just got off the bus. So that's what it was. I had to do that.
How long did you do that for?
About 3-4 months.
Dang. And then what?
And then someone saw me on Sky, and then I got the TalkSport gig.
Look at
Someone
you.
saw me, and then DAZN saw me, and then look at me now.
Look
I'm
at
with
you.
you.
God,
look at me now with you.
Hosting the Club World Cup.
Yeah. That's quite crazy. Actually.
What a journey.
Yeah, that's surreal. That's surreal. That is surreal. Hosting the Club World Cup is just incredible.
And you're going to be at the venue tomorrow.
I'm at the venue tomorrow for the semi-finals.
That's incredible.
And then the final on Sunday.
You'll be there too for that.
Who else is going to present?
Well, I don't know, because you said there's a whole bunch of people.
I mean, there is a whole bunch, but there's no Ade Oladipo.
You're the man.
I mean, there's no Ade Oladipo. I mean,
and
come on.
Perhaps you will be in attendance on November 22nd at the Ring 4 card, which was announced yesterday. What a card this is, by the way.
Dude.
Golly.
I mean, these cards.
Brian
these
Norman against Devin Haney. Do we have it? Do
I
we
thought it was
have
coming up,
the,
so that's
yeah,
why-
I
that's
thought
why I
so as
kinda
well.
didn't- oh,
There
there
it
you
is.
go.
David Benavidez against Anthony Yard. I mean, surely not the fight that we were hoping for as far as Benavidez is concerned.
I think it's a very good
Plan B.
Plan B. I
Yeah.
think it's an incredible Plan B. Obviously, we wanted Callum Smith. I think Abdullah Mason. Is that Sam Noakes?
Yeah, that was Sam Noakes.
That's incredible. And then can we put it back up?
Yeah,
Can
put it back. We need
please?
to marinate on this just a little bit more. Yeah, look at that.
I mean, Devin Haney, Brian Norman is incredible.
That's the one.
Devin, by the way, goes to the smoke. Say what you want about Devin. He wanted Ryan Garcia, couldn't happen. Okay, give me Teofimo Lopez. Tio backed out. Now he gets Brian Norman after Brian Norman has the KO of the century.
Yes, you got to.
You know which one I don't like?
Tell me.
Jesse Baron Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Martinez.
Why?
Not because I don't like Jesse Baron Rodriguez. I love him. I think we even did our little most exciting fighters, and he was my number one. He's got a fight July 19th.
Yeah.
Can we just not announce this July 20th?
No.
As soon as he gets past these fights?
Least, just announce the first 3.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then add this one.
Yeah, because
why do we keep making this mistake?
I don't know. I mean, this is a banana.
He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to play this safe.
Who?
Jesse, meaning July 19th, I'll play this safe.
He's going to go to war. It's a unification fight.
But it's like one of those things where it's like, why do we keep announcing fights? Because if anything, I just feel like it's a little bit disrespectful to the opponent.
It will give the opponent an extra 10%.
Yeah.
That, what? 1 second. So they think I'm going to just get run over like that they're going to announce a fight already? And it's quite a quick turnaround if you're Jesse as well. I mean, fighting in July, then fighting in November. I mean, you're going from camp to camp, which makes it mean you can't get an injury, you can't get cut, nothing can happen. So yeah, I'm with you. Just wait till July 20th, then announce it. Or say, as Turkey normally does, we've got loads more coming.
Yeah.
So these are the 3, but and then you announce it. I just think it's a bit risky.
Can I say, I wasn't really expecting all this. I remember the day that TKO Boxing, now Zuffa Boxing, was announced. I think we all kind of thought like these cards would go away. Yeah. We've got another one. Well, we've got one this Saturday. That wasn't announced yet. We've got one in August, Dillian White, Moses Atama,
great card as well.
which is solid in its own right. And then this one, I kind of thought that they were all kind of going to go away.
I thought they were all geared to go to TKO.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you.
Or, and have less other promoters involved.
Yeah.
This card has Top Rank, right? It has PBC. It's typical, like, hey, we're going to work with everyone type of stuff. So I'm not really sure what to expect anymore. Like, we're hearing more about this stuff than the Zuffa Boxing stuff. We still only have, to the best of my knowledge, one fight announced for the Zuffa Boxing card on September 13th, which is the big one, of course, the one that everyone cares about, but no one else.
Yeah, you're right. It is strange now you think about it, because a lot of these guys that fight on August 16th or in November could have been on that card.
Yeah.
September card, you're right. So it is strange. But if you're a promoter, if you're a fighter, you're happy.
This is great. Yeah.
I mean, if you're Eddie and Frank and Top Rank, Golden Boy, you're like, okay, well, we're still in the turkey business. We can still, get our fighters on big cards, but it does surprise me, but I'm happy because I think it should be all shared around. I'd hate for it to think it will be all on one entity, so I'm happy that it's now been shared. Everyone gets sort of a chance.
As we say in the business, let's round third here. Put last weekend to bed. You know what that means, round third?
Yeah, let's just, I would say the back 9 in golf.
Yeah, but 9 is still half.
Okay.
So round third is...
why would you think I didn't know what round third? And you even showing me. You're even doing your hand.
You know baseball?
Yes.
You know baseball?
I don't know baseball, but I know the sport called baseball.
You know the terminology?
Yes.
Jack Catterall, Harlem Eubank, the cut.
Okay, we can move away from that.
Okay,
so
you have no interest.
We can go round 2.
We could just avoid it.
Nah, go on.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
The whole fight was weird.
Everything about it was
Are we going to see it again? No interest. I don't know. It ended somewhat unceremoniously.
Even the great Sam Jones
doesn't want to see this.
Couldn't bring that one.
There were a couple of takedowns in that one. It was a weird one.
Dude, it was awful.
Who do you blame?
Both.
Yeah.
It's both. I mean, we always hear styles make fights, but we knew the style of both. So that's a poor excuse after, because we know how Jack fights, we know how Harlem fights. And it just wasn't great. I mean, what you could see, though, although it was only, 6 rounds of action, I could see that Jack was maybe a level above. But then if you're Harlem, you're like, well, our thing was to get to the second half of the fight. Maybe that's what he might say, right? But no, it just wasn't great. It wasn't great. And look, Jack's been critiqued a few times for not having a great style.
Yeah. I
would maybe disagree. I thought his fight against Prograis was good. I thought his fight against Josh Taylor was good. But I don't know. Jack's 33 now. They're going to need to make a big decision as to what next. I almost feel like...
Gnarly.
I almost feel like you go Josh Taylor again. Maybe you just go Josh
Taylor.
Really? Yeah, they seem to have an animosity where they produce a good fight. They've had 24 rounds of good boxing, those two. So maybe you do that again. As for Harlem, I don't know.
Where was Chris Sr.?
When this fight was announced, I was there when it was announced. It was actually announced at the Johnny Fisher fight. Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen. I remember them getting in the ring. And I think Jack Catcher actually said the Eubank name's hot right now. So, and Sam was hoping that, all of a sudden, if you sign Harlem Eubank, you almost get a 2-for-1 because Chris Eubank Sr. will turn up, right? He manages and looks after Harlem Eubank. And obviously no Chris Jr., no Chris Sr., and that kind of hurt the promotion a little bit. I don't know where Chris is.
By the way, I saw a great picture and some videos today of Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher training together.
Saw that.
Did you see this?
I did.
This warmed my heart.
I did. It was nice to see.
I liked it.
It was nice to see because that takes a lot from Johnny Fisher to say, okay, I'm going to go and train with someone who's beaten me. Like, it's okay to learn from people. And I think it's a good thing that he's doing that. He spoke quite well. He's on Sky Sports the other day, sort of speaking, saying,
Johnny?
I don't need to box.
Wow.
I think he said, I've got a degree in, I think it was history or something. Like, he could easily go that way, but he says he feels like he has something to give to the game, whether it be an English title or British title. He has something. He's not saying he's going to be the next best thing, but he wants to do something and achieve something in the sport. And I think he can. I think something's there. I just think Dave Allen just looked really good.
They're two very likable guys, though. So it was nice to see them together and put aside any sort of animosity. There wasn't really a ton of animosity throughout the two fights. But
when you knock someone out, you can understand how people might think there's animosity there when you just put someone to sleep like the way Dave did to Johnny. But again, I think Johnny showed a lot of humility saying, okay, I'm going to learn from you. Even if it's only if I go up there for a couple of weeks and just spar and just chill with you, maybe it helps.
Clearly, Johnny is helping Dave prepare for the Deontay Wilder showdown. Mm-hmm. That's the one, right?
Oh, God. No. I'm going to be kind to Wilder here now because I don't want to see Wilder fight anymore.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't want to see.
After the lie, you gotta win.
You know why? You know why? It is that because
not even AJ.
No. I've seen the best version of Deontay Wilder, and I hate when fighters stay around too long. Like Deontay Wilder actually physically doesn't look 40. He looks like someone that's in his late 20s physically. He looks incredible. Yeah. The fact is, though, he's now approaching 40 years of age. So even if he didn't have the damage he clearly has through those Fury fights, he's 40. 40's too old to be fighting.
Yeah.
It's just far too old. I don't know what the one is.
There are a couple fights left for him.
But why?
No, I mean, why money? Why? That's
it. Didn't make enough in the Fury fights? Didn't make enough for Zhang and M. Parker fights?
Who knows how much he saved? I don't know.
It's just, I just find it a shame when fighters hang on. That's why I applaud fighters that walk away when there clearly is money on the table. Andre Ward just decided enough's enough. When there clearly was money to fight Canelo or Golovkin on the table. Carl Froch, similar. But they walked away when they were still at the very, very top of their game. Deontay Wilder's not that anymore. The fact that you just said Dave Allen, Deontay Wilder.
No, I know.
But some people now
like
legit
like to see
serious.
Is AJ versus Deontay. I think it makes a lot of sense. And especially
why does it make sense?
Given where they are in their careers, and it was, it was talked about for so many years. And Tyson is coming back apparently and saying he's going to fight Usyk. So he's not going to fight AJ, even though I think they'll still try to make it for a Netflix card, if I'm being honest. That's just the last one. There's nothing else.
Yeah, and it's an easy sell. I've always said that. You're not selling it to me. You're selling it to the casual fans, and they'll put up a promo of these two punchers, these two monsters going at each other, and people will buy into it. And because we waited so long, a bit like Calm Brook, we waited a decade. So because we waited that long, you're just going to want to see it anyway. Yeah.
You would watch it.
I'd watch two guys falling out of a pub.
No, I know, but those fighting. Two guys, yeah, but those.
Yeah, I would watch it. I hate the fact it should have happened 5 years ago, and it never did. When they were both champions and very much both right at the top of their game. I still think AJ's got a couple of good years left, but no from Wilder. Did you watched it? You see?
No. I mean, look, he just needed a win, and I know it wasn't the greatest performance of all time. Far from it. It wasn't vintage Wilder, but I don't think he's going away. I think he wanted to check this one off. And
you think he should go away? Sorry, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
No. I mean, it's truly hard for me to say based on how the last couple went before this one. Yeah, you can make a strong case, but I've always tried to be very sensitive to this type of statement. Who the hell am I to say? Now, can I say I don't want to see him fight anymore? Sure. I'm not quite there with Deontay just yet.
Okay.
There are other people who have made me more uncomfortable.
I agree with that. With Wilder,
obviously, I don't want to see him fight like an Usyk or something like that.
No, and he's not been devastatingly knocked out. I mean, the one against Zhang, do you know what I mean? When someone's out cold, he's not been that. He's always got up and he's been
he didn't look good in that fight. Like
which one? The Zhang one?
The Zhang fight, yeah.
Oh, no, he looked really bad.
Yeah, it just didn't look like
but and that's my worry. Is that because Zhang's a top heavyweight?
Yeah.
And Wilder isn't? And Tyrell Herndon isn't that. I'd never heard of him prior
Like,
to.
I'll tell you, Joyce makes me more uncomfortable than Wilder.
Yeah, Joyce makes me very uncomfortable. Yeah, very. Yeah. I think he should retire.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there are other people who make me a little bit more uncomfortable. Weird conversation to have because, like, once we're getting to the point where who makes you more uncomfortable, it's probably time for everyone to walk away.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, but yeah, that's the game, and he's not the only one who has forced.
No, and the worst thing for him, his manager, Shelley Finkel's going to be getting so many messages about potential fights.
Sure.
Chisora, Bacoli, Ngannou,
Yep.
AJ. He'd have
Have
had
opportunity.
tons of emails and messages after that fight saying, "Okay, yeah, cool,
go.
let's do this. Let's do this."
Well, coming up this Friday, live and exclusively on Netflix. Once again, we appreciate them supporting this program because we're going to be supporting that fight and watching it 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, live and free on Netflix. If you have a subscription, no extra pay-per-view. It's just going to be there no matter where you are in the world. Ireland, Puerto Rico, Denmark, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, Canada,
Nigeria,
USA, Nigeria, Cameroon, South Africa. It doesn't matter. You'll be able to watch Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. in Ireland, and you figure out the rest. What a card. 8 fights, top to bottom, one
Incredible.
of the best of all time.
I really hope I'm there.
17
I really
titles on the line.
I'm just gonna buy. Is there still tickets available? Maybe a handful to buy.
I have no idea.
If there are,
this is
I'm gonna
above
go
my
and buy
pay grade.
them. I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go there. You're gonna be there.
Buy them.
You gotta be there. Don't be a cheapskate. You don't always need a freebie. Go out there. You're getting big money to work the
Do you know what it is? Can I be very bougie?
Yeah.
I just want good seats.
Nah, I know.
I just want good
By the way,
seats.
you could probably
I
get.
just want good seats. I want to sit right
I was
next to
gonna
where
say
you
name.
sit because I know you sit right next.
You want me to get you one of those credentials? You be my assistant.
Please.
Your ego wouldn't allow it.
I'll be your Instagram guy. I'll do anything. All your social media of the day, everything for you.
It's Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3. Once again, live and exclusively on Netflix. Appreciate their support very much. And then on Friday, it's the Ring 3 card at
Saturday.
Louis Armstrong.
Saturday.
Saturday. And then on Saturday, it's the Ring 3 card exclusively
Now look
on
at
the
this.
zone.
Look at this.
Look at these names.
Yeah, look at
Shout out
this.
to Subriel Matias.
Yeah, against
Not bad.
Alberto Puello.
David Morrell on
David
there.
Morrell
Sort
back.
of flying under the radar.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, like, considering the build-up to Benavidez and the way that they were going at each other, I mean, you said who could be the best fighter on this card. I mean, obviously it's Shakur Stevenson. The second could be David Morrell.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. So look, it's an incredible card.
And pressure on
Different
him as
venue
well to get back on
Big
track.
pressure. Because you know what? The thing about Morell's not really a light heavyweight. He chased Benavidez up there to fight Benavidez. He really is 160. He should be back at super middleweight because that's his best weight, and I can see physically his size. I mean, we're going to see a comparison. When you see the weigh-ins and you see Berlanga and Morell, you'll see there's not much difference, right? So Morell should get his backside back down to 168, and because I think there's going to be openings for belts as soon as Canelo Crawford's done.
All right, time now for everyone's favorite segment of
Is
the
that it? The show's done?
It
One
is
second.
time
Wait, the show's
for our
over?
parting shot. Yeah, it's
I've come all this way from London
But by the
for
way,
this?
you haven't come all the way for. By the way, a parting shot presented by our good friends over at Netflix, who of course are showing to the world Taylor versus Serrano 3. Can't wait this Friday. So I usually like to swerve you, right?
Yeah,
but there's
you
no
can.
swerve this time. There's no swerve. Sometimes you gotta give credit where it's due.
Wait 1 second.
And so we were talking about the heavyweights.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future.
Go on, I'm still. Oh, okay, go
Let's
on.
give a shout out to the big man. First one up. There he is.
I thought you were going to be silly here.
Nah.
Yeah, you know what? Atang's such
Leo
a fight,
Atang.
yeah? But you know what they need to stop doing? Please, Matchroom, everyone. The next AJ. There's so much pressure. There's too much pressure on it.
Well, they
Let's let
put him
be
there at
next him.
the rebranding.
Yeah.
It was AJ there.
Yeah,
he was
Frank
there.
Bruno, you know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
The next one up.
Yep.
Almost passing the baton
Yep.
to him.
How do you think AJ feels about that?
AJ's like, 1 second, I'm not done yet. How are you doing? That's why AJ went up to him and started doing a little bit like,
Yeah.
But no, look, he's a good fighter. He's only 18. I think people are now already, though, starting to build up. In the UK, people are already saying Moses Atalma versus Atang. That's what they're already doing. I'm like,
Already?
Can we just
That was his
stop?
pro debut.
But they will fight. He will have another fight in 2 weeks.
Well, we were talking about the cruiserweight division. Let's keep the train rolling. Multiple parting shots. How about the future
Pat
of
Brown.
the cruiserweight division?
Brown.
Big Pat Brown, the Olympian. By the way, our take our take about like them making too big of a is going to age so poor. Every time I watch, I'm like, Pat, look at these punches, man.
Look at he just wants to really hurt. Like he beat him up like he stole something from him.
Yeah,
that uppercut. How he didn't go down. Oakford's tough though. He's tough as old boots, as they say. But he's a massive cruiserweight. They're going to need to do it quick with him because
Pat Brown versus Jake Paul. Who wins?
Okay, you know what? See,
what a fight!
See, this is a great point.
What a fight!
Pat Brown ain't ranked.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
That was only like his second pro fight, third pro fight.
Are you asking me who would win?
Yeah. Olympian. Team GP. Shout out. Third one for you. Why not?
Why not? I'm flew all the way here from London.
Who's the third one? Let's give a shout out to our good friend Sky Nicholson. Getting back on track.
Yeah.
Getting a stoppage.
I like it. Gone down in weight class as well. Which is nice.
What do you think? What do you think? Where does she go from here?
She needed this. I don't know. I don't know if she's trying to chase Ellie Scottney. I don't know if that's the plan.
Well, they were under the same promotional banner, and now Ellie left.
Yeah, Ellie left, but now you can make that fight.
But Ellie was the one saying that she was trying to get this fight for a while, right? Yeah. Like she wanted this.
She wanted it, but Sky, was chasing her own things. Yeah. Sky became world champion,
She was trying to get the Amanda Serrano fight.
I didn't go to Tiara Brown fight. I'm like, what happened with the rematch?
She needs to get her mojo back and maybe didn't want to be in that weight class anymore.
Maybe. But I like Sky a lot, and it's good to see her. Because one thing people say about Sky is that she boxes, and it's not exciting when she gets the knockout now. She got a stoppage, which she needed.
I think the second stoppage of her career, I think
you might be right.
If memory serves me. But again, a person like Sky Nicholson looking at a card like this on Saturday.
Yeah, and she'll be looking at, there's a few girls.
Sorry, not Saturday, Friday.
That's okay. It's okay. It's only sponsored by Netflix.
Yeah, shout out. It's right there.
We're trying to push it correctly.
Yeah.
But she'll be looking at it, and there's a few girls within her weight class that are on this card that she'll be like,
Including Scottney.
So happy for Ellie Scottney, by the way.
Yeah. What a great character she is, by the way. She's very fun. She's got a great sense of humor. She has not been here, but just, looking at her socials and also the presser, she was great at the presser. She's very funny when Chris Jr. was saying that he was going to pay everyone who was on the first Ben Eubank card. She was like, okay, where do I send my invoice?
And she got the money.
Did she get it?
She got the money.
I've never checked in with her.
She posted it. And she said, look.
Oh, that's amazing.
She said she was actually surprised.
Yeah.
She sent her bank details over thinking, whatever.
Yeah.
And so she got the money.
That's hilarious.
But I remember when MVP signed her and I think she did her own social media and she was like, oh my God, I'm in New York.
Yeah. And
that still holds some weight. We've had some big shows all over the world, but these fighters still think of MSG as the Mecca.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's fighting at the Mecca, not the small room, and we've spoken about this so many times.
Not the theater.
The big room.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible for her career. And she will perform. She comes out there to fight. I think they're going to love her. She's very, very similar to Katie, where she just scraps. Maybe doesn't have the power, a bit like Katie to be fair, but she'll put on a show. Good luck, Ellie Scottney. I'll be there to support you, Ellie. I'll be ringside to support you.
Listen, the old heads will say the 70s and 80s were better, and who am I to argue? But how spoiled are we with cards like this happening within the stretch of 24 hours? 10 years ago, we dreamed of one card like this, one card even remotely close to this. We're getting an incredible one on Netflix on Friday, and then an incredible one right here on DAZN on Saturday.
What, the 19th as well?
Can't wait. And then the 19th.
Free fight cards on the 19th. Free fight cards on the 19th.
Is nuts.
It's crazy.
You're getting Usyk Dubois, Pacquiao, and Barrios, and Jesse Bam Rodriguez.
Kidding me?
Golly.
Kidding me?
And if you're a combat fan, you're getting Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway on that same night.
Is that happening?
Night. Yes. The retirement fight on the same night.
For both?
What are we going to do? No, just for Dustin. We're out of time. Thank you so much, Ade. Great to see you.
Oh, sorry. Nearly left you hanging.
Yeah.
It was about half a second.
It happens to me all the time. I got a birthday party to go to. And none of you know who gave me that? Virna Jandiroba. She made it herself, handmade from the Amazon in Brazil.
Really?
Right over there. Virna. Shout out to her. She made it for me.
It's tough.
It's great to have you.
I feel like I need some of this tough. So this is good.
You need to come visit us more often.
I need to come visit more?
Yeah.
I thought the agreement was you're going to come to London.
I haven't been invited.
Look at this guy. I need to come more. I've been in free time.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't been invited. I will not be seeing you on July 19th. No invite for me, but one of these days we'll do it again.
It's going to happen.
Thank you very much to Pete Carroll, who joined us from the Open Workouts. You can check him out right now on YouTube. Thank you very much to our team back there. Thank you to the great Ariel Oladipo, who I urge you to watch tomorrow, semifinal number 2, PSG versus Real Madrid. And then, of course, the final on Sunday. What a weekend for DAZN.
What a weekend for Addy.
What a weekend for Addy.
What a weekend for Addy. It's
From
incredible.
3 a.m. buses to MetLife Stadium.
Crazy? Incredible.
Enjoy the fights, my friends. We're out.